It's impossible to do SEO without a plan because it's a long game. It's not something that you can just decide to do one day and get done in a week. It doesn't work that way. You have to consistently be doing the work and you have to be building off of what you've already done. So don't delay, make your plan, do it for at least 6 months, a year is better, and then redo it once you hit the end of your plan.
Why is it important to develop a year-long SEO plan?
So SEO is a long game. It's something that you have to plan for because there's a strategy that can take you through the whole year. And if you're not planning that far in advance, then you just end up running in circles.
Do you need to determine a baseline before starting the SEO strategy process?
Absolutely. If you don't have a baseline somewhere to start off, then you don't really know what SEO is doing for you. So you need to create that baseline so that you have all of the KPIs that you care about and you know where you are now, and then as you make goals later and as you actually work your strategy, you know what to look for and where you want to see increases.
What do you recommend setting as a benchmark when you're setting SEO goals for the new year?
It really depends on the KPI. So in general, I usually say you want to at least increase or decrease, depending on what it is, by about 10%. So in some cases, it will be a lot more than that because growth can happen a lot faster for some KPIs than others. But in general, at minimum, you want to increase by about 10%.
What do you determine tackling first after you establish a baseline?
So the first thing that I usually do after I've established a baseline is I want to figure out my keywords. So there's lots of parts of SEO. There's the technical side and the backlinks, but the very first thing is you need to figure out what you are targeting, because that will drive the rest of the strategy. And once you have those, you can create your content, you can figure out what your calendar is going to look like, you can figure out what pages need to be updated, and that's going to be the core of your strategy, is getting people to your website for the keywords that they're actually searching for.
What's your favorite keyword research tool?
So I use SEMrush. That helps you kind of figure out what other keywords you can target based off of a seed keyword. But there's a bunch of others that work very similarly. Moz works the same. Ubersuggest works very similarly, and Ubersuggest is a freemium service. So if you don't want to pay for SEMrush or Moz, then there's that. There's a bunch of others that are free as well. There's really not a wrong answer as far as keyword research goes. You just want to make sure that the data that whatever tool you're using has is fresh. You don't want it to be more than a week old.
How do you suggest incorporating chosen keywords?
So the thing that I've learned is that you need to choose the keywords first. So you need to figure out what has a high search volume, what things you don't already rank for, and then once you have those, create your content around the keyword. If you're not creating your content around the keyword, it's going to be really hard to incorporate it naturally, and Google really cares about flow and how it'll work for the user. So if you're trying to keyword stuff and it's obvious, Google can pick up on that and they dock you for it. And users pick up on that and then they stop coming to your website. So the best way to incorporate it is to make sure that you have the keyword first and then you build your topic and your content around the keyword so that it flows naturally.
Let's talk about technical SEO. What is it and where does it fit into the bigger picture?
So technical SEO really is that's the part that you cater towards the machines. That's what Google really cares about. There's some parts of it that people care about. For instance, site speed. Most people will leave a site if it's not loading within 3 seconds. So there's that, but then also there's things like your image size. There's things like schema, which we've done another video about, but that's basically Google's native language. There's It's basically all of the things that Google cares about, but only Google cares about, that people don't usually see. But when you optimize those things, it makes Google's job easier and they reward you for that. Or it's not only Google. Search engines like it.
Is it more important to focus on the human side of SEO or more of the search engine side of SEO? And where's the balance in that?
The answer is yes. You don't want to only do one or the other, but if you have to choose which one to do first, actually technical. If Google can't crawl your site, if Google can't understand what your site is about, no one's going to find it. And it's going to show your site in searches that are irrelevant to your site and vice versa, so it's never going to get clicks. So first and foremost, you need to make sure Google at the very least can crawl your site and can understand what your site is about. That doesn't mean you have to do all the technical things, but at a minimum you need to do those technical things and then focus on humans. And then go back to the rest of the technical stuff. So I guess it's not really one or the other, but start with making sure Google can crawl your site.
How should a business or a brand treat backlinks?
Backlinks are gold. Some are fool's gold. So not all backlinks are created equal. If you're paying for backlinks, Google will know. It's kind of that how will they know? They're gonna know. They just do. People will report that, or they'll figure it out on their own. Their machine learning is very advanced. So if you can earn a backlink, that's the best way to do it. And the way you do that is you create really good content. You can ask for backlinks. That's okay. It's when you pay for them that Google likes or doesn't like that. They'll dock you for that. So get backlinks, but quality is more important than quantity.
As an SEO guru, how do you suggest to drive off-page SEO efforts?
So the biggest thing is to use listings. So there's the Google Business Profile, which was formerly known as Google My Business. But there's also Bing, there's Apple Maps, there's MapQuest, there's hundreds, thousands of them that most people have never even heard of, but Google crawls the entire internet, so they care. And so you want to make sure that all of your data is consistent across that. So you want to claim those listings, make sure that your NAP, that's name, address, phone number, data is all the same, because Google looks at that as a ranking signal, and they want to make sure that all of the places say that your contact information is the same. So if you claim those listings and you make sure that all of your contact information is the same, Google likes that, you rank better. There's also the backlinks, like what we just talked about. The more of those you can get, the better, as long as they're high quality backlinks.
Final thoughts?
Make sure that you actually plan. If you don't plan, then you end up trying to create content and you're looking at a white screen of death with a blinking cursor that never moves and you don't get anything out of it. And you don't know what your keywords are, and it's impossible to do SEO without a plan. Because it's a long game, it's not something that you can just decide to do one day and get done in a week. It doesn't work that way. You have to consistently be doing the work, and you have to be building off of what you've already done. So don't delay, make your plan, do it for at least 6 months, a year is better, and then redo it once you hit the end of your plan.
So where should people look if they want to know more about SEO?
So anyone who wants to learn more about how to do it or how we can help them, they can check out our blog, they can subscribe to our YouTube channel, or they can just contact us directly for help.
Awesome. Thank you, Taylor.